The House just passed the Bitcoin and crypto market structure bill. It's heading to the Senate. This is big news. A lot of people have been watching for this, waiting for this because it got rejected just a few days ago. Tom Emmer explains what these bills are. We've talked about a bit on the channel, but there are still some people that have no idea what crypto is. Some people, congressmen, that are still saying that crypto is the perfect financial tool for drug dealers and tax evaders. We have Elizabeth Warren, I believe it was Elizabeth Warren, let's see. Yeah, saying no to crypto clarity regulation. She says Bitcoin could blow up the stock market and the entire economy. Okay, crazy. Let's talk about that. She makes an interesting point here, but we'll go through it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but we'll get into it later in the video. The White House is exploring a minimus tax exemption for Bitcoin, making it easier for crypto payments to go through without you having to worry about small little differences in capital gains. This could be really beneficial to crypto. So we'll talk about this too. And we'll talk about price movement, of course. If you don't mind, hit subscribe so you can see future videos. Also, I just pushed 2 videos, early access onto the Telegram. I publish videos there a little bit earlier because sometimes I back up videos and I wait an hour or two to release them. I also have some exclusive videos on there, so you can check them out underneath the video and join that Telegram. Also, there's a link to BitUniX. There's also a link to BYDeFi. You can start trading there in just a few minutes. I think now's a great time to be trading crypto. I've been talking about it for a long time, but so many cryptos are looking very bullish. XRP approaching recent highs. If you want to get in before the blow off, before we see so many people get liquidated, which we're already starting to see that on a lot of cryptos, you can check out the link to BYDeFi underneath the video. Also, if you think this is overvalued, if you think the crypto market's overvalued, you can go short. Put your money where your mouth is. And they have between a 10 and 50% deposit bonus right now, along with a free trading competition that gives you free Bitcoin. So check it out underneath the video. You might as well sign up, try it out for a little bit, see if you like it. Now, let's start here. We just got news. So many people talking about this massive breaking news that the House just passed the Bitcoin and crypto market structure bill. Let's listen to someone explain what this is exactly.
Well, there are 3 bills that we're going to be addressing today. One is a dollar-backed stablecoin bill called the Genius Act that came out of the Senate. This is a bill that literally is about exporting U.S. dollars all around the world. It may not be as big domestically to start with, although I think eventually it will be. But think about that cab driver down in Brazil who would love to do business in U.S. dollars, and right now he can't. But with a dollar-backed stablecoin, he'll be able to. This is about exporting U.S. dollars and solidifying the reserve currency status of the U.S. dollar. The other one is called the Clarity Act. This is a market structure bill. The problem we've had with getting new investment into this country is people don't know what regulator they're dealing with. They don't want to spend all kinds of legal fees fighting with the government over whether they're cash and they deal with the Treasury, whether they're a security and they deal with the SEC, or whether they are a commodity and deal with the CFTC. This gives clarity so people understand what they have to do business in this country. And then the last one, which is my bill I've been advocating for probably 5 or 6 years, is a prohibition of a central bank digital currency. Why is that?
Okay, so he explains what the Genius Clarity Act and Anti-CBDC Act are. Cut them off a little bit early, but you get the picture. It provides more regulation. It provides an idea for what these companies are supposed to do. In the past, that's been one of the main concerns behind crypto companies is they had to go offshore because there just wasn't good regulation. Like you didn't know where the line was. Let's say you're playing football and all of a sudden like there's, instead of a sideline, there's like 6 feet of gray area. Okay, well, how far do you step into there? Do you just stay away completely? Of course, that's what you do. So then, you just have companies moving out of the country completely because they don't even know how to act, right? They don't even know how to regulate. So that is good news that this is passing. It's going to the Senate. It seems like it's going to get passed. Obviously, Trump is very pro-crypto. They want stable coins to grow because it will spread dollar dominance, and these are some of the biggest buyers of treasuries already. Congressman Brad Sherman says crypto creates a perfect financial tool for drug dealers and tax evaders. Some people just don't get it yet. Yeah, so you can send money without a third party, but there's no way to really get money out without being noticed. That's the whole point of the blockchain. It's recorded forever. So there are people that made transactions 6, 7, 8 years ago that still get busted every day for illicit activity. So this is such an old way of thinking about crypto. Instead of fostering innovation, he'd rather just say it's all a Ponzi, it's all a tool used by drug dealers to sell marijuana. Just crazy. Of course, the big financial giants don't think this way. IBIT, massive inflow yesterday. We'll see in a few hours what they bought here today. This was surprising to me. The Bitcoin supply by investor behavior. This is just first-time buyers. They bought a ton of Bitcoin. 140,000 Bitcoin have been accumulated by new buyers, completely new buyers in July. That's crazy. Okay, so massive accumulation. And we continue to see more and more good news coming out too. Like, look at this. The White House says it's exploring de minimis tax exemption for Bitcoin to make crypto payments easier. So what this means basically is they want to make a certain level of payment not have to be reported for like capital gains tax. So let's say you want to go buy a coffee. If it was below this tax exemption level, you wouldn't have to report it on your taxes. So you could go, let's say you bought Bitcoin for $1 back in 2011. Instead of selling it now, you could use it. So again, let's say there's like a $500 cutoff. You can go buy a steak dinner for you, your wife, and your kids for $400. And even though you made basically $400 of profits on that Bitcoin, you can just spend it instead of having to sell it for cash, which would be awesome, assuming that the place you go to accepts it. But how cool is that? Right? That definitely decreases the likelihood of some selling. That also just is a huge benefit to retail investors to buy Bitcoin in the first place. They can make gains and not be taxed on them on smaller transactions. And it might not seem like a lot, but obviously there are a lot of people that spend $500 and less throughout the week, right? A lot of different transactions. Amazon, grocery store, every time you eat out, gas. Like a lot of people spend less than $500 on transactions. And that's actually a large part of their spending. We also got news on Ethereum. BMNR, which I actually just made a video kind of covering this. This is Tom Lee's ETH treasury company. They apparently hold $1 billion of ETH now. It's actually more than that with ETH going up. But at BitMine, we have surpassed 1 billion in ETH holdings just 7 days after closing the initial $250 million private placement. That is interesting. And they, of course, are staking as well, or they're on their way to achieving their goal of acquiring and staking 5% of the overall ETH supply. BlackRock also is seeking now staking options for their iShares Ethereum ETF. I think that's going to be huge for altcoins once you get staking. So many people are going to be interested in buying a crypto asset that provides a yield as well. Of course, there are people that are still fighting the crypto industry. Senator Elizabeth Warren says no to crypto clarity regulation. She says Bitcoin could blow up the stock market and the entire economy. Let's play this.
Guardrails to make sure that crypto isn't used to blow up our entire economy. So I'm very worried about that, but I want to add one more twist, and that is the clarity bill has all those problems, but it also has a provision in it that would let any company listed on the New York Stock Exchange opt out of SEC regulation by just digitizing themselves, put themselves on the blockchain, and all of a sudden it turns out that Amazon or Meta or General Motors is no longer governed by the SEC. You do realize that literally would blow up the value of the New York Stock Exchange.
So I'm not sure what was going on with the picture there, but this is from Altcoin Daily. Obviously, Elizabeth Warren has been very anti-crypto for a long time. I understand what she's saying. The thinking behind it is there are rules put in place so that the SEC may not have jurisdiction over like tokenized companies or tokenization. So she's saying, well, a company could go tokenize or become a crypto and then not have this regulation by the SEC. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't have clarity. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't have a way of moving forward. That just means that you have to be careful about how you approach this. And you do have to spend a lot of time, and you have to think about how this is going to, the implications for crypto in this new world. But I don't think it makes any sense to shun crypto or to leave it for another 5 years like they've done in the past. There's been no regulation on it in the past, and that's definitely hurt America. That's definitely hurt the crypto economy too. So everyone can point out some possible issue, but come back when you actually have a solution, right? Like, don't just constantly berate crypto for the last 5 years and then still have nothing to contribute, right? No ideas. We just got good news too. The U.S. House officially passes the Genius Act. All right, things are really moving. BlackRock, highly traded today, the IBIT ETF, their most profitable ETF after just 18 months, is now trading $2.4 billion today, more than the S&P 500 from Vanguard, VOO. I have these hats back here. And it's Larry O'Clock is one of them. You can't really see it, but BlackRock is giving you 24 hours. And then right next to it, I have a 100K hat. This was sent to me before Bitcoin hit $100,000. And it was a hat that was supposed to get you excited about the upcoming 100,000. And it's so cool to see that this is a FUD number right now. A crash in crypto or in any asset is 20%. A crash from the all-time high would put us right at 100,000. A literal crash and we're at 100,000. What happens when we crash down to 250,000 or 500,000? It's going to be fun. I wish I'd gotten into Bitcoin even earlier so I could have had even more time to appreciate this. But yeah, we've come so far. If you do want to trade crypto, again, there's a link to BYDeFi underneath the video. You can also check out BTCC or BLOFIN or WEEX or BitUnix. A lot of people like trading crypto, and if you want to try it out, you can. I'll put some videos on the end screen kind of explaining how I go about it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll see you all soon.